want to continue our discussion on the reason for the law. I'm speaking this to those who are familiar with the Bible. And I know this is also peculiar to cultures because I'm going to discuss today on the law of dressing. The Bible has a law concerning dressing. So every culture has a dressing code, and even every profession has a dressing code. So there is this dressing standard that required for specific things. Engineers have dressing, lawyers have dressings, doctors have dressings, and all of that. And then in religion, there is, for instance, Muslims, there's a way Muslims dress. I mean, there is a way God told the Jews to dress. So I want to focus my discussion today on the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, in verse 5. And it reads that the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do this, for all that do so, are abomination unto the Lord your God. So, you see the law of dressing here. A woman should not wear what belongs to a man, and a man should not wear what belongs to a woman. And what is scary here, he says, all that do so are an abomination to the Lord your God. That's scary. You mean if a woman wears maybe trousers or pants? Of course, it depends on where you're coming from. Americans will call it pants, long pants or so. A woman wears trousers, so that woman is automatically an abomination to God. Or a man wears maybe something that is like feminine, is an abomination to God. That's what it says there. All right, but why is this commandment given? Our discussion is the reason for the commandment. In the previous discussion, we mentioned that the commandment is never given in the abstract. It is never an imposition on the general system of living. For instance, it's not just a proclamation or a promulgation that imposes limitations on people. That's not the nature of commandment. The nature of commandment is that it is derived. It is an explanation of the path of living, the path of socialization, the path of progress, the path of living. It is an explanation that is showing you how things work, how you should understand how things work. So the law is always a derivative. It is never a promulgation, an imposition on a system. When you look at the law as an imposition, the tendency is there for you to resist it, or for you to think you can bypass it, or for you to think you have outgrown it. But when you know that it's a derivative that is drawn from in order to explain the way of, then you find a way to understand it. Now let's go into discussion. Why was this law, or why is this law relevant? Why is this law given? The key point here is not about wearing clothes. It's not about whether it's trousers, or whether it's blouse, or whether it's skirt, or whether it's gown, or whether it's whatever is so gendered. It is about maintaining distinction for gender. It is about maintaining gender sanctity. Gender sanctity. Dressing here connotes every manner of disposition, every manner of characterization, every manner of personality development. There is an orientation that must be given to a girl child to grow her into a standard, complete, balanced womanhood. There must be an orientation given to a boy child to grow him into a complete, balanced manhood. It is in the aberration or ignorance of this that you see men grow up and become hostile to women because their growth was not balanced, and so they don't respect the other gender. Because something is wrong with them, they are not sensitive to the need of the other gender. You see, the woman grows up and doesn't understand what it is. They don't like relationship with men. They don't like, for instance, marriage or submission or relationship that leads to such a dimension of relationship. So today's world discovered that people prefer free companionship. People just live together. They don't want to tie the knobs. People just live together. They don't want to go too far. People just live together. They say marriage is like a bondage. Why should I be bound to such a thing? What leads to this degree of social thinking? What leads to this dimension of reasoning? Perhaps we have ignored the importance of gender sanctity. Because, see, let me tell you this. What's gender sanctity? It is the preservation of the value of the gender. And why is it important? It helps in both mental, social, and spiritual development. Not only physical development, mental, social, and spiritual development of a particular gender. Take for instance, in the world we find ourselves in, there is this some society, some say generally, men seem to dominate. Men seem to take ascendancy in things, and then relegate women. It is of recent that we begin to talk of gender equality. We begin to talk about women empowerment. We begin to talk about all those gender issues, and as we have even got to something like feminism. So, and some people fight this and all of that. Why did we have to go to this extent? Because something had gone wrong in the value we place on the other gender. Because when men grow up without a sound development on their gender and the respect or knowledge of the other gender, there's a tendency to be dysfunctional in your disposition towards the other gender. You see, we grew up in a society that is skewed towards the masculine. Take, for instance, our educational system is masculine because it's abstract. The process of teaching and learning is not feminine. It doesn't have feminine content enough. Because the way you do research, it's not feminine. So you value learning. If you can do this and then draw a conclusion like this, you must follow that singular path. There is no other way of blended intelligence. Take, for instance, women are not really rational in their reasoning. That doesn't mean they're not intelligent. So if the way you evaluate intelligence is only rationality, how will you incorporate the feminine side of reasoning? Women feel, and their intelligence is in sensing. Their intelligence is in feeling, not in really rationalizing. It's in perceiving. Men rationalize, they don't perceive. So if all you do in your educational system is rationalization, then you're making education masculine. And then you're forcing women to go through that masculine program. That's the reason you see in our world today, women have gone through school. Some of them have master's degree, but they have not been able to use the degree for their benefit. You see, they go through school, but they have not become inventors. They have not become technologists. They only work, as it were. But how many women have invented things? How many women have discovered things in all generations of learning? Because the educational system is masculine. So gender purity or sanctity has not been maintained. And so because we don't understand the commandment given there, we have grown to become a lopsided society of humanity. And so the danger is that we now have restiveness, gender conflict, which is not necessary. We shouldn't have had such. You see, we have dysfunctional homes. We have battered women, bruised women, women that are suppressed in homes. We have women that are not happy, they are not fulfilled. We have women that go to school, but the school is not useful to them because they have certificate just to be useful to men or useful to maybe a workplace. But they have not been able to really establish their existence in terms of making impact. What have women really done that we see women, this is the contribution of women in technology, with contribution of women in research, in findings. It's because the educational system is not giving room to their way of mental orientation. And so gender purity is to help, or sanctity is to help us maintain this purity. So respecting the gender difference will help us in educational and social systems, social structures. And if we have respected this law, it would have helped us in appointment, political appointments. Because we understand what is feminine in a particular role, what is masculine in a particular role. And we will never be coming around to say we must empower women, because we could have naturally placed them in every place they are relevant. We would have naturally seen their relevance in curriculum policy development, in administration, in peace building, in relationship, in societal development, in every area of culture and religion. We could have seen their relevance. We would not have just subjected them to just maybe some culture. Women are just good for kitchen. Women are just for the other room. Women or whatever. It could have been a balanced humanhood, whereby you see the man maximizing his worth because the woman is there to support, the woman is there to strengthen, the woman is there to comfort, the woman is there to complement him. You see the woman becoming all that she should be because the man is there to support, to strengthen, to complement her. So there would have been this gender respect, this gender balance, this gender beauty that could have enhanced our collective growth. And humanity wouldn't have been where we are now in terms of development in technology and socials and mentality. Because if we have actually respected gender difference and its sanctity, the result would have been a collective mutual growth of humanity. It would have been a balanced society. It would have been a more egalitarian environment. It would have been a place that a woman fulfills herself as a man does the same. So I hope this helps. If you find this video useful, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, and like our Facebook page. We shall have further and further discussions in matters like this.